Brown guy with tattoos. I think I'm covered. We're looking for a brown guy with tattoos. Perfect. What
Is
shooters
that
we
the
have?
AK day?
That was the AK
Ah,
day.
so
Jay-
chest blasted.
Chest. He just wanted.
How about this? We'll give something for the listeners. All right.
Dude, if people understood that they can get slapped at any fucking point in time, they would legitimately shut the fuck up. Fucking take the labels off of this shit. If they want to drink the bleach, drink the bleach. So, day drinking? And I was like...
I caught that. I'm like, motherfucker! It's 11.
We're at
It's
work.
11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock in the
At
morning.
work, at least.
It's 11
I
o'clock
was
in the
at work
morning.
too, but I was like, yes.
Now it's
Okay.
time for you to talk about Blood Day.
All right.
Why the fuck were you guys talking about that before the fucking episode?
Just listen.
Hashtag Blood
It's
Day.
so awesome.
Listen. Welcome to the Covert Standard. What's going on, people? Welcome to the Covert Standard. This is another episode just for you. I'm here with my good buddy, Dave, from Cabal USA. What's up, Dave?
What's going on, Fred?
Hello, Dave.
I'm doing great.
That's
Fred.
amazing, Dave.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the family, everybody's kind of doing things right now. Everybody's kind of in a busy part of their season, I guess you would say. Everybody's got things going on.
Well, shit, fuck, holidays are coming up, so
Yeah.
everybody's kind of stepping up the games and everywhere they're fucking working at, so we're taking advantage of the overtime.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Taking advantage of the overtime.
Overtime.
So anyway, I guess we'll start with our sponsors. First sponsor at the top of the show, you guys know him very well, is CabalUSA.co. This is your place that you go to for all of your EDC needs. If you want to go ahead and take a look at his website, you'll be able to see he has holsters. He's got these awesome deals on Red Dot Optics right now for your pistols and your rifles. He's got flashlights as well. He's got these really cool, dope-ass Magpul sunglasses on there as well. Take a look at it. He's got everything you need for your EDC needs. And don't forget to type in the promo code Covert Standard on checkout. You get 15% off of your entire order. It's fucking dope, guys. Go check them out. Our second sponsor for the show is Stone Cold Works. Our buddy Stoner over there, he started a business in Cerakoting and also powder coating and all types of other coating as well. Vinyl works too, in case you want to put some dope ass vinyls in your vehicle. He doesn't just do firearms. He does a list of a bunch of things. He doesn't just limit to firearms. However, his forte is firearms. So if you got that boring black gun sitting at home, and you want to go and put some color or liveliness to it, you can send it to him and do whatever you need. I know Dave, he's got a Glock that he had hooked up by him, and it's definitely Mandalorian. It's dope. It's OD green. It's got the Mandalorian logos on it as well. So if you guys want to go and check him out, you'll be able to do that. Now, let him know Covert Standard sent you over there so he knows that he's getting some love over here, and he may throw something in there for you. Now, back to our sponsors. No. So, yeah.
I think that's it. That's all we got.
Is that it? Is that everything? Yeah. Okay,
Unless,
cool.
Somebody wants a shot or something, we might be doing some, shots.
Shots?
Should we start doing that?
Shout
where
out?
People, like, hey, shout me out on the fucking
We'll
podcast.
be fucking hammered by the time we get to, the 8th name. We're just going to be fucking toasted.
I say, let's fucking do it. Let's fucking do it.
Oh, we got to wait for the whole family to be here so we share that.
Yeah, share the wealth.
We're just going to be fucking nobody's going to be everybody's going to be stuck here. They'll be like, yeah, I can't even go home, man. What the fuck?
Shit.
Anyway, so I wanted to start this episode off on talking about something that is very very predominant in my life. It's actually something that has been around since the beginning, and it defines a lot of different things in my life as well, and that's fear. Now, what I mean by fear, we'll go over different topics or different we'll do different approaches on this. But fear isn't just what you would think fear is, right? Being scared of something, or like, ooh, I got a fear of the dark. I'm scared of the dark. Or, ooh, I've got a fear of, the boogeyman or something like that. That's not the fear that is part of the fear, but it's not the only fear that's out there that I wanted to talk about. And I'm sure you could relate, right, Dave?
Yeah, there's a little bit of fear here and there, I get scared when my gas light turns on, so that's a fucking thing. No, I'm fucking kidding. I think you want to get into the warrior fear and mentality about it, behind it and whatnot.
That's one as well.
So,
but it's not just the warrior mentality. That's actually a very important one that I definitely want to touch on as well. But I'm going to start simpler. Okay. Growing up, my entire life has been a weird roller coaster of finding out who I am. And ever since I was young, at a young age, I had fears, lots of fears of a lot of different things. Now, the reason why I wanted to start here, the early life thing, is because it actually kind of plays on to later in my life, right? So I'll give you one example, right? I had a fear of needles when I was younger. You ever heard of somebody else having, like, being scared of, like, shots, immunization, or just needles or sharp objects, period?
Dude, that's fucking weird that you're saying that. Like,
Because you're looking at me right now, yeah.
Dude, the amount of fucking ink on you. Do you have any idea what? There's like over fucking 10 needles moving over like fucking 200 RPMs, just fucking going back and forth and just stabbing into your skin.
Yes. So.
And you're scared of needles?
I was. Now, everything I'm telling you, I was scared of. Dude, there was this one time that I went up to the hospital.
Well, shit, if you want to talk about what you're scared of, like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Well, no, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the conquering of the fear as well. When I was a kid, right, my parents took me to the hospital to get shots. And I remember I had a Jacksonville Jaguars starter jacket on. And I remember this specifically. I knew every time I go to the hospital, that smell of the hospital and just being there, I had like a fear of just the hospital because I knew what was coming, right? Like, you knew your parents brought you there because you're about to get stabbed. Like, that's how I thought about it when I was a kid.
God dang, dude.
Dude, as soon as we got into the room, I already knew, like, I was gonna get stabbed. That's how I thought about getting stabbed. It wasn't a shot. It was, they're going to stab me.
Jesus.
So I remember taking the starter jacket, flipping it around to the front part of my body. So I wore it backwards so that way the sleeves were on my arms, and I put the hood over my face, and then I hid in the corner behind the door and then, like, balled myself in a ball, and then as strong as I could and as hard as I could, I held my arms there. So every time my dad would try to bring me out of that corner, I would hold on tight so he couldn't get my arms, and I would scream. Dude, I was so deathly afraid of needles. This is a real thing. And that fear I ended up conquering later on in life. But, I mean, do you have anything when you were a kid, maybe scared of the dark or anything like that? Like, maybe scared, because I know you surf and you do skateboarding and everything. You ever had a fear of, like, falling maybe?
No, to be honest, man, like, the only thing that I was really scared of was, like, legit drive-bys.
Dude, that's, like, such an off-the-wall. Okay, explain.
It fucking happened all the time. It's fucking Miami Beach. Like, fucking Miami Vice was, like, the biggest fucking thing. And it's, like, it's fucking life out there. Gang initiation and all that shit. Like, you hear it on the fucking news and, like, you freak out, you know?
Drive-bys.
Legitimate.
Yo, I'm scared.
Legitimate.
I'm scared of the dark, bro. What you scared of? I'm scared of drive-bys, son.
Pussy ass bitch.
Like, so you legitimately, like when you walk out of your house, you like look both ways to see if a car was driving by.
Yeah.
Did you feel like really nervous and anxious?
Yeah, I would get anxious, like if I'm in a corner or like in a fucking playing basketball at the fucking park. Then I see a fucking 4-door sedan or SUVs freaked us out as kids. Like,
that's a very fucked up thing to be scared of at a young age.
Yeah. You're out playing b-ball with your fucking friends, and then you see a vehicle moving slow. That freaks you out more than anything.
Sure,
and you're like, what the fuck are they trying to look at? Are they going to park, or are they going to fucking do something stupid? And then you see the window roll down.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you're like,
it's even better.
And then, like, time just slows down. And, like, I'm not bullshitting you, dude. Like, this shit happens. Shit happens. And people fucking literally just stop whatever the fuck they're doing. They're just jumping into the fucking ground. It doesn't fucking matter if they heard anything. It's just, it was a reaction. It's what people fucking did in Miami. And it's fucking wild. It's wild that's how kind of, like, life was when I was growing up. And it was fucking weird. But, you know, that's what I was afraid of.
So yeah, I mean that's a legitimate fear though. I mean there was an object or a being or a sense of something happening, and you didn't want that to happen, and you were scared of it, right? How about you used to surf? You ever had a fear of sharks, like the unknown underneath the water?
Negative. I actually was like I was okay with it. It was like one of those things, like water is nature, and you got to give a little bit of respect when it comes to like any type of shit like that.
Better man than me.
Like
I was scared. I was scared to death of sharks.
But I guarantee you probably never went like in a deep end or anything like that, or you started to like swim away.
I used to think that sharks would actually come up in a swimming pool. Like when I was a kid, I would get so anxious in the water because I'm thinking like maybe there's a shark. Obviously, there's not a shark.
You would fucking hate my swimming pool growing up. My mom, this fucking crazy wacko, she ended up putting a fucking shark, like little fucking, like a shark design in a pool. So like if
So
you're
it looks like
swimming,
this. Yeah, I'd
you
freak
see a
out. I'd
fucking
freak
shark
out. I
in
would
the
scream.
deep end.
I would scream. I would scream. Yeah. Okay. So
It was a fucking thing.
the fears really didn't start until something of the nature happened. Like I didn't just know about what this is, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, right, the shots thing. I obviously got immunizations when I was a kid, and that's where it started, right? The fear of sharks was because I was in the beach at one point. Now, I've lived between Virginia and Florida most of my life, and obviously there's beaches in both. And I remember going to the beach, and me and my mom were out in the water.
Can you say coffee?
Coffee.
Virginia and Florida, and
Virginia,
you say coffee like
Florida.
that?
What?
Sorry.
You threw me off. Okay, so walking. So I remember walking out there, and I remember seeing a shadow in the water circling us while we were in the water when I was a kid, and it brushed up against us, and you could feel it. It was large. It was huge. I don't know what it was.
Oof.
It was but it brushed up against us, and then she freaked out, and I freaked out, and all I can remember is just trying to paddle as fast and as hard as I can to get to shore. That was it. So then I had a fear of the unknown, right? The deep, the sharks and everything like that. And then also, have you ever been to Typhoon Lagoon in Disney?
Yeah.
Okay, they have this
Several
thing
times.
called the Shark Reef. Do you remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And what it is it's like an aquarium that they have out there that you can swim in. But you don't swim in it, you just swim on the surface from one end to the other. But because it was called a shark reef, right? Because it was called a shark reef, in my mind I thought sharks, right? So so my parents would try to bring me to this thing, and they put you in a wetsuit, and all you do is put a snorkel on and you swim from one side to the other.
Shit, I don't think they do that anymore.
Maybe not. I haven't been there since I was a kid, but like it was really ice cold water. I remember it
was a legit reef.
was a legit reef, and we swam across it, and I would freak out because of that, and like legit freak out because I was going across the surface of the water, and I always thought, and then of course movie Jaws, right? Jaws came out, and
Bitch, what do you mean it came out?
Well, not
This
came
shit
out,
came
but
out
it was
before you were
before.
even a fucking like a thought.
Jaws was a movie that I was watching as a young lad as well, and that's
what?
a young lad.
Dude, you're fucking throwing me off with
I know
all these
you
words
are.
here.
You are just. It's like we've never talked before.
It's fucking
And
weird.
and then so you see the scary movies and stuff like that. So yeah, sharks was a thing. A fear of heights, maybe. You ever had a fear of heights?
Heights, not really. Like it's one of those things. Like I guess the second I climb the ladder and I notice that I'm like fucking 3 feet, like not 3 feet, but 3 stories high. Like you're putting the fucking shutters up and whatnot, and you feel that gust of wind. You're like, oh fuck, I'm about to fall off this fucking ladder. Like that little bit of fear, you know, like that shit's happened. Like I'm putting shutters like during hurricane seasons down here. You do your side hustle, you know. I was one of those scumbags that fucking went around like, hey, $100, I'll fucking put your shutters up. You know.
How about standing in the hallway? It's a dark hallway, and then trying to run across the hallway to get to the light switch. You can turn the lights on really fast.
No.
You ever heard of that either?
My sisters did that shit all the fucking time, dude.
So all these things. The reason why I'm bringing up all these things because these are legitimate fears that I had when I was a kid.
All right.
And there was a point in time. Let me see. There was a point in time in my teenage years where it was my freshman year of high school. That's when I first started. So I realized that I was scared of so many things that I really needed to stop being a bitch, right? I really needed to start conquering my fears because I didn't want to be scared for the rest of my life, right?
Yeah.
So so what I ended up doing was the first thing that set it off was fighting, actually. I had a fear of fighting. I was a little punk in elementary school.
Punk ass bitch.
I was a little punk in middle school, and the main reason why I was a little punk, to be honest with you, was because the fear of repercussion. Like it wasn't that I was scared to fight anybody. I was scared of what would happen if I fought somebody, because my mom always told me don't ever hit anybody, you know, that kind of thing, and or don't ever get into a fight. So I always thought that I would get in trouble if I got into a fight. I thought I would get in trouble and get sent home, and then my mom would beat the shit out of me when I was, you know, whatever, when I got home. That was a fear of mine. And it wasn't until freshman year of high school when I got into a fight with an individual, and I had this anxiety. I remember this anxiety and everything like that. And I was in the class and stuff like that. And I remember walking out of the class, and the guy pushed me. And then all of a sudden, I ended up fighting back. I ended up throwing hands. I was pretty decent. I landed everything I had. I messed up his face pretty bad. And then we went into the principal's office, and I was in the principal's office, and I was in the principal's office with my fists clenched.
Jesus.
And I was shaking. I was shaking, and I was breathing deep because I had just gotten into a fight, and it was like my first fight that I fought back in, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the principal came into the office and saw us like sitting there next to each other. And as soon as the principal walked in, the guy I fought, who, by the way, was this guy who played this like gangster role. Like he was like this hardcore gangster. He was like this person that like, you know, he would wear the gold teeth and the backwards hat, and he would always like walk around talking about, you know, I'll fuck you up this and I'll fuck you up that. He always played that role,
that persona, you know,
to fear him.
Yeah.
So when I fought him, and I had won that fucking fight, we got into the principal's office. I'm shaking. Principal walks in. He starts crying. He breaks down and cries, and then looks at the principal. He looks at the principal and goes, "He was picking on me. He fought me. He fucked. You know, he kept grabbing my shirt and he wouldn't let me go, and he kept punching me in the face." And then I stopped shaking, and I looked at this guy, and I was like, "Wow, what a bitch." And then ever since then, my fear of fighting was out of the window. Matter of fact, I got in trouble so many times, so many ISS, so many out of school suspensions. They threatened to expel me and send me to exile. These are real life account things. Was because I no longer had a fear of fighting back. And then I ended up fighting just because like somebody else was getting picked on. I ended up getting to this point where I didn't like people getting picked on because I got picked on so many times in my life, and I was like, okay, bet, all right. So you're picking on this individual. If I see somebody get picked on, I used to fight the bully, and then I got in trouble so many damn times for it. And that's where that was the first fear I got to conquer was the fear of fighting.
Dude, that's fucking badass. Like, I'll tell you what, like, it's one of those things that, oh, hey, look at that. Little product branding right there, you know. I like the Trigicons on there. It fucking looks so good.
It really does.
It's so good. No, like, I do want to say, like, fighting was one of those weird things. Like, I know the rage you're fucking talking about.
Yeah.
And I guess I can say, like, my first fucking fight was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And
like the first one you fought back, or your first fight? Because my first fight was like back in elementary school.
No, first fight that I fought back.
Okay, yeah.
You know, like, I was being pushed around. Fucking somebody was trying to grab my backpack, and I'm like, "Fuck you!" You know, like, I had my music to me was fucking important to me, especially like being part of the fucking band and marching band and all that shit. So yeah, I was a fucking band nerd. Get it out of the system. But it's like one of those things. Like, I fucking loved it.
Sure,
I loved it. So I was standing up to myself, like, you know, for myself, and we just ended up scuffling and got him to the ground. I have a bad habit of just tackling the biggest fucking guy for whatever reason to the ground, knowing I'm going to get pummeled. But for whatever reason, like, that feeling of, like, I can fucking do this.
Sure,
I ended up falling in love with it.
Yeah.
I ended up falling in love with it.
That's
It's fucking insane. It's fucking weird.
That was it ended up being a weird transition in my life too, because everything changed in my life. Because now it's like, wow, if I punch this other guy back in the face, he bleeds. If I punch this other guy back in his face, he will step back. If I punch this guy in the face, he will leave me alone. When I started realizing these things, putting two and two together, and then feeling flesh on flesh at that moment, it really changed things for me, like for the rest of my life. Like, I ended up becoming this fighter. As soon as that happened, I took up boxing because I wanted to be better at it. I did boxing for 2 years. So like I ended up, you know, that's what I ended up doing with a bunch of my friends after school and stuff like that. That's what we were doing, is we were doing boxing. And I wanted to be better at it, you know. When I was younger, I did Taekwondo, but I'll be honest with you, that stuff really didn't teach me how to fight bullies. You know, it just taught me how to kick weird ways and stuff, you know.
Be self-disciplined. That's all it was.
Which it did teach me that, yeah.
I think that's what majority of the martial arts world it really does cater to, is just self-discipline and like self-respect out of everything. Like, you know, you get fucking picked on, now you got a little bit of fucking confidence built up with you, you know, and doing fucking shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like I strongly recommend people to fucking try something.
So,
you know? So you don't have the fear of fucking standing up for
exactly.
yourself. That's full circle back. Not
to veer off the subject of fear, but how do you feel about the see something, say something bullshit in school? How do you feel about that? Like, if I'm getting picked on, run and go tell somebody. like teaching your kids to do that versus fighting back? How do you feel about that?
I find it fucking weird. I find it weird that we're actually going to try to rely on somebody else to fucking step up versus you trying to step up or you step in.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things, like, people should be stepping up for themselves, have self-respect. That's the number one thing in fucking, in today's world. Today's world, self-respect is everything. That's all you fucking have. Like, there's many, many fucking episodes ago, I always fucking talk about, like, you know, your word is everything.
Yeah.
And if you don't have respect for yourself, no one else is going to fucking respect you.
Exactly.
That's all it comes down to.
And I've always said that too.
So,
like when you stand up for yourself, you know, if you're being bullied and you stand up for yourself, it teaches you more than just fighting.
Yeah.
It teaches you how to get up, right, for being knocked down. It teaches you that there are real dangers in the world, so you should be a little bit more cautious and think a little bit more. It teaches you that there's repercussions to your actions. So this whole see something, say something is turning everybody into a bunch of just, I'm going to run and tell somebody instead of standing up for myself because they're not understanding. So I never, ever agree to that. If the bully's picking on him, you need to teach your kid to defend himself against that bully.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, it depends on the size and whatnot. It's just, you know, more hands equals less work. So,
okay,
what I mean by that is not all that fucking, that person that's getting fucking picked on can have some other folks fucking jumping in as well to fucking prevent shit going down to the fucking worst way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure,
it's fucking
yeah.
weird for me to fucking bring it up like that way, but
sure.
you know, that's normal, like a work ethic type of thing. Like, more hands equals less work. Like, that's the best fucking way to come out. But when it comes to fucking fighting and all that shit, like, you know, people should be fucking stepping up and saying that shit ain't right. You know, go in, fucking stop the fight, or fucking join in on the fucking fight, depending on what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I went down a bad road in high school years. I started hanging around the wrong people too. That kind of led to it as well. But I never, after that day, after that fight, after I saw him cry in front of the principal, this guy who was supposed to be this big gangster guy, after I saw that, I realized that it's not bad. It's not as bad as I thought. I had the fear of. I had the fear of, like, oh, something's gonna bad. No, it wasn't. I fought back. That was it. The next fear, or one of the other fears I started getting into, like, later on in life and stuff like that. For instance, you were talking about needles, and you were like, "Oh, I'm looking at you, dude. You had how many tattoos?" So that's actually how I got over the fear of needles, was tattoos, and I kind of got addicted to it.
At what age you got your first tattoo for you to be over needles?
So, believe it or not, I was 18.
So you waited till, like,
I
well,
had
not
a
that
fear
you
of
waited,
needles.
but you're.
I got shots all throughout high school. It wasn't as bad as when I was a kid. I wasn't hiding in the corner and everything like that. But I did have the anxiety.
Yeah.
So I would sit in that chair. The doctor would come in. I'd look at the needle and freak out a little bit. It was internal. It was internal. I didn't go, oh my god. No. I looked at the needle and then I started breathing like.
Yeah. You turn your head,
and I would turn my head,
try
and
to
then
draw the blood, and then they would
shit. They'd, you know how they took the alcohol pad and they wiped the skin?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they touched my skin with that, I move.
Jesus,
yeah,
dude.
Like, I had a legitimate fear. I'm not fucking scared about saying this shit. I did, you know, and yeah. So they ended up, you know, giving me shots throughout high school, and it wasn't that bad. I didn't like freak out or anything like that. But it wasn't until I got like my first, second, third tattoo that I realized that, you know, that the pain goes away and everything like that. So then I ended up just getting tons of tattoos. Now I could give blood, draw blood, get immunizations, shots in my ass cheeks and everything like that. You know, like, you remember the peanut butter shot in high school, in boot camp?
Nope.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can't get that. Damn, we fucking went over this shit. I've had that peanut butter shot fucking 3 damn times in my fucking life. Anyway, so the fear of needles went away. The fear, I learned how to surf. Believe it or not, I had a fear of the ocean until I was about 20. And then I learned how to surf, and I would go out to the ocean every single day after work, and on the weekends I would go in the morning time, and I learned how to surf. Now, I wasn't in any goods. Don't look at me as a surfer, as in like I can go in and cut up some waves and everything. But I could take a longboard to shore. You know, I could get on a short board and kind of, like, you know, maneuver a little bit. I mean, it's been 10 years, but this is what I learned. And then being out in the ocean so many times and for long periods of time, it kind of got me more used to the water. So I'm not necessarily, you know, afraid of that anymore. Oh, I also took up spearfishing. I was spearfishing for a
Shut
little
the
while.
fuck up,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
Fucking spearfishing is something I've always wanted to
dude,
fucking
I did
do.
it. I did it. I had bought a spear. I don't have it anymore, but I did a spear or I bought a spear that it's got like an elastic band at the end of it. It's got these 3 prongs at the front, and what you do is you put it around your elbow, right? And you pull back the actual spear. You hold on to it, and then when you find what you want to shoot at, you let go of the spear, and then the tri-prong would actually shoot into the fish, and that's what we used to do. So we would have sharks pass us all the time.
Dude,
And
that's
you realize
fucking insane.
you realize sharks really don't bother you.
They don't, dude. So when I'll be surfing and whatnot, and again, I was one-on-one with the fucking water. Like, I respected it. It's like one of those things. It's fucking Mother Nature. It's unpredictable, especially with fucking animals that don't really much have a brain. All they fucking do is just try to live. That's all they're fucking doing. Sharks are curious creatures, especially when it comes to the water. The water is their fucking domain. It's
Sure, yeah.
Like if somebody wanders in your fucking house, you're not going to just fucking let that shit roll. You know what I'm saying? You're going to inspect, fucking make sure that it's like nobody sketchy, but technically it shouldn't be in your fucking house.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my house.
Get the fuck out of my house. But with the shark, they wanted to see if you're fucking like either food or shit like that, and they'll actually challenge you by like brushing up on your leg and whatnot. And to me, anytime
so that motherfucker that did it
happened to me, that shit's happened to me where I'll just be chilling, waiting for the fucking next set, and then I just feel something, and I'm like, the fuck? I look down, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's a fucking shark. And most of the time, they're fucking hammerheads. Hammerheads are the most curious things ever because like they got these fucking weird fucking heads already, and on top of that, they just need to bump into you to see how you're gonna react. And they love chasing shit. And that's how they actually end up fucking going chasing for fucking food.
Yeah.
Or they do the infamous fucking Australian fucking jump out of the water shit, whatnot, because if you look like a fucking seal, you might taste like a seal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, people from California actually deal with a lot of that shit all the fucking time, and it's fucking insane.
Yeah, so the fear of the ocean kind of went out at about that point, and I used to freak out about that spearfishing, bro. That spearfishing over here is not as fun.
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, I tried it over here when I first got out,
dude. I thought hogfish is like the fucking go-to when it comes to spearfishing and all the fucking reefs that we have here.
It's my opinion. I'm not saying it sucks because people can't do it. It's my opinion, and the reason why is because I got spoiled in Hawaii. When you go spearfishing in Hawaii, you can see everything. Yeah. Everything. Well, like, it's so clear. It's so awesome. It's amazing how clear you can see the reef. You can see a shark, hundreds of yards away from you. That's how clear the water is.
Okay.
And so when you're going through, you can see the fish coming and everything. So when you're spearing, you can see them. Like it's a lot more clear, and then you can see the depth, and it really is absolutely gorgeous. It's really beautiful, and that's kind of my whole thing. So out here, the water is really murky. It's really green. It's really dark, and it's really hard to see sometimes. You can go into deeper water and do it if you want to.
Dude, it's fucking weird that you're having that problem. Like, if you're spearfishing out here, you end up spearfishing like in the Keys or like the Bahamas.
Clear water.
Like clear water.
Sure.
But you shouldn't be in murky water.
It was West Coast. I was on West Coast trying to get like spearfishing done, and like they have a couple coves out there. It really was. I'm not saying it wasn't good. Like it wasn't bountiful. It was just.
It's fucking weird.
It wasn't as good because I was spoiled at one point. Dude, I would love where I would want to spearfish is in the Philippines. Dude, it's gorgeous out there too, man. Just crystal clear blue water out there. But maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll do that. But yeah.
One day. Modest Yahoo, yes.
So, that was another fear of mine. Fear of heights. I'm kind of over it just because the military kind of forced me because you get into high places all the time. But I still want to skydive. I think that's the ultimate like killing of the fear, or at least doing something to the max, just going skydiving. I'm trying to get my dad to do it with me.
Oof.
I've been slowly bringing it up with him. He hasn't said no, but he hasn't said yes either.
Why don't you just like get in the fucking car
and just drive there?
Just drive to the fucking place.
Because I don't trust California.
Well, when he comes to Florida.
Yeah, I know that. See, you. I love how you didn't say, dude, it's not gonna be nothing. Then you're like, well, yeah, wait till he comes to Florida. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is.
One, he doesn't know where the fuck you're driving to.
No, he has no clue. And Sanford, if I'm not believe, like Central Florida, if you ever travel to Sanford, like in Central Florida, I believe up there they have like a bunch of like skydiving stuff there there too.
Yeah.
Or even further north, Daytona or something like that. I think is up north above them. They
got a little bit of everything almost everywhere. Almost any executive airports, they actually do a lot of the skydiving. I know we got Melbourne,
maybe
Cocoa,
Jacksonville.
Every fucking airport has a little bit of skydiving going on. So it's pretty fucking cool in my opinion.
That's another thing that I want to do to not to kill that fear, because that fear is kind of gone, but just to kind of put the nail in the coffin, so to speak. I'm trying to think of other fears that I had.
Dude, it sounds like you're scared of every fucking thing.
I was. I'm not scared to admit that either. Like, yes, I was a fucking bitch when I was growing up, bro. And it's not. I was a victim of my society. You know, I got my parents. Okay, love them to death, right? But my parents kept me up from a lot of these things. Right? They were protecting me, which is what parents are supposed to do. But sometimes protecting you from like up to a certain degree can get to a point where you end up instilling these fears into people.
Yeah, you're smothering them and they don't fucking know what the fuck it is.
You need to let them fall.
Yeah.
When they ride their bike and fall off the bike and scrape their knee, they have to do that. You have to. When they're rollerblading and they're rollerblades and they fall down and scrape the elbows, they have to do that. When the kid's climbing a tree and he falls and he splits his arm open, right? And you have to get stitches. The kid has to do that. These are growing pains. This is going to teach them very valuable lessons in their life. So, unfortunately, that's not what I was kind of learning there, but I was learning it on my own, and I had the ability to do so. But yeah, there's a lot of things I was scared of.
It's fucking insane, dude.
Now,
warrior fear.
Warrior fear is what I was going to go into. Now, this is why I wanted to bring that up first. Those fears, okay, being legitimate fears that a lot of people, there's a lot of phobias out there. Like people have, I was scared of spiders too. But anyway, you know how I beat that? I had 9 tarantulas put on my body.
Jesus.
Yeah, so now I'm just like, whatever. But anyway, warrior fear, okay? Now, these fears that I had literally put your body, like any kind of fear, put your body through what's called a fight or flight reflex. The actual scientific terminology is called tachypsychia, right? What this is that your body gets induced into a warning. Your mind gives you a warning or a fear of something, forces you to be put into a fight or flight reflex, whether you're going to fight or go forward or if you're going to run and flee. Now, the warrior perspective on this, what you need to learn from fear is very valuable. Now, my lesson here, what I'm trying to tell everybody out there, is not that, because I was scared of a lot of things, you need to conquer everything, but you need to basically change the way you think about the fear and use fear to your own advantage. Fear is what actually keeps you alive. You're going to hear people all the time, and I'm sure you've heard it, Dave. I'm sure somebody in your life has been like, I'm scared of shit. I'm not scared of anything. Well, if you're not scared of anything, then you're dead, right? That's literally what it is. If you're not scared of anything, you're dead. And that fear, that being scared of something, gets your senses heightened at that moment. It makes you think faster. Well, basically, I'll go over what tachypsychia does, right? So tachypsychia is the chemical cocktail in the body, right? To where your brain or all your senses are heightened. Your brain starts speeding up and takes information in 2 times as fast as it normally would. That's what your body forces it into because it's trying to understand the situation. Your eyes will dilate so that way you can see and it takes in more information. Your hearing becomes 10 times better. Your smell comes 10 times better. And all of this stuff because your body is trying to take in more information about the traumatic situation that you're in at that moment. Yeah. Another thing that happens is that you'll have adrenaline go through your entire body. So your body is going through where it's a little bit more agile, it's a little bit stronger, it's a little bit more durable at this moment in life. And this is where you have to make the decision. Are you going to fight or are you going to run? Right? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've seen any type of action film and, somebody's driving a car over a ramp and then they put it in slow motion. Or there's an explosion in a movie and the explosion goes off and then it's also like a nice slow motion, or if they're trying to show you PTSD, it's always in slow motion. Well, the reason why they put it in slow motion isn't because things are actually slowing down. It's actually because your brain is taking in more information twice as fast at once, that when you go to recollect the memories, it actually slows down when you go through it. And have you ever had that happen where, like, maybe it's a car accident and then you're explaining it to somebody, or have anybody been in has anybody been in a car accident and explained it to you and they were like, man, it's like everything slowed doon? You ever heard that before?
Yeah, it's happened several times with me, man.
It's because your body gets forced into this tachypsychia. It gets forced in that fight or flight, and it's a natural thing. It's why PTSD is a big thing, is because those traumatic incidences get stuck with you because you remember it, and then you recall those memories by sense or sight or hearing, right? So that fear of something happening is actually what keeps everybody alive, because of that chemical cocktail in your body. It helps you fight better. It helps you think better. That's why when you go through training, you need to put your body through that stress so that way you know how to utilize it to your advantage instead of having it like freak you out.
Yeah. Sorry, I was over here and the phone was fucking vibrating like crazy. But yeah, no, that whole fucking thing actually does end up happening a lot of the fucking warriors out there too, man. Like, you know, when they're in a fucking firefight too. And it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird because time does slow down for the person. And it's one of those things, like, you know, you feel like you're fucking hauling ass, but when the person's looking at you, seeing all your actions, you're like, bro, you just stood there.
It seemed like, yeah, that's literally, you'll hear it on all types of accounts. That's a real thing. Yeah.
So it's fucking, I find it insane on how the human body can actually react to certain things. So, like, back to the whole fucking me being scared of fucking vehicles driving slow.
Mm-hmm.
It was like because I witnessed something one time, and from there I just kind of like learned to, holy shit, I need to keep an eye out for this.
Yeah,
and
be on alert.
Window comes down, it slows down. We know the window speed doesn't have two different speeds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just like
that T.I. song, that one T.I. song. Bring the Chevy to a real slow creep.
Yeah, that's exactly how it goes, man.
Mouth full of gold teeth. Yeah.
But same thing when you're like stacking up to fucking go and clear. Like for me, I cleared ships. Like that was boarding and vetting. That was a process of like what the Navy ended up doing. Is just like, you know what the fuck's on the other side of the door.
Sure, yeah.
Everybody says, oh, there's nothing here. All right, I'll find out. And then you find out that you're fucking point man, and you're like, this is fucking bullshit because it's all close quarters.
Yeah.
Like, think of your door. Your door's width. That's the width of the fucking hallway. Bro, you can't have two guys on that thing.
Yeah, and the doorways are small.
And they're small because, it's great for short people to an extent, but you do have to step up.
Yeah.
You know? And you fucking fall. It's happened. I'm a clumsy motherfucker.
I've fucking knee knocked one of those fucking things so fucking hard.
Like, if I can run right now, I can show you how I used to run through the hallways. Like, I would just be running and just like, bing, bing.
My dad, because my dad worked on an aircraft carrier, right? My pops, like, when we would go visit for the Christmas parties, and I miss the fucking Christmas parties. If anybody wants to invite me to a Christmas party out in California when I'm out there on a Navy boat, I'm down. But anyway, he used to show me like how fast he would do certain things. Like when they went down the fucking ladders.
Oh,
like
speed.
Yeah,
speed.
He would hold on to the side, put his feet over it, and he'd be down it. And then he would show how he'd sprint through. It's like hurdling.
Yeah.
And his hands and head went down, and his legs went up, and he would.
Yep.
It was like watching Mario jumping around in fucking in his little Super Mario world.
Yeah, for real, dude. So, but as I go into a room, for whatever reason, adrenaline starts picking up. Yeah. I know it's just a fucking room. All it's going to be on the other side is like maybe 3 fucking beds in that fucking room. But I don't know why. I feel like everything slows down. Me opening the fucking hatch, and then I'm swinging the door open, and I'm like expecting not to see anybody there. But at the same time, there's like something in the back of my head, like there might be somebody back there. You know? So you come in, you open the door, and you just like come up ready, safety's already off, and you're like, nothing's here. Nothing's here after fucking assessing the whole situation. After that, you're literally raiding the whole fucking room. Bet it looks like fucking boot camp all over again.
Sure, yeah.
Like when your fucking drill instructor's like, I heard there's fucking cookies in this fucking bitch, you know? And you're like, oh my fucking God.
Cookies? No, we I never had a. We had a problem with peanut butter.
You didn't have a fucking fat boy in a fucking club? that just put shit in his pocket from the fucking chow hall?
The peanut butter.
It was peanut butter.
It was. He had 2 packets of peanut butter. He was gonna eat it later.
Jesus. Dude.
Yeah. We had to fucking pay for that fucking thing.
Yeah.
I remember.
Except for him. Right?
I remember we were field daying too, and I found in a pipe. There was a pipe on the floor. And I found inside that pipe another fucking peanut butter packet. I fucking grabbed that bitch and hit it and threw it away like as fast as I could, so we didn't get smoked for that.
Shit.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, fear is an important thing that you need to assess. You need to understand what fear is. And those of you out there, obviously walking around on a daily basis, and even you first responders, you military folks, you veterans, everybody that's listening to this that has like a job where fear is instilled, learn how to use that fear to your advantage. If you don't already know how, a lot of the training, they kind of, they base it around that fear. They know what they're doing, a lot of the people that are training, but sometimes they may not. And if you don't instill it in your body and understand putting yourself under extreme stress and you utilizing that fear for your advantage, then sometimes that could literally be your choice of life and death right there. So, for those of you out there, my advice would be, look at fear in that way. Now, that's the warrior fear mentality. That's a whole nother story right there, bro. Now, obviously, the fighting could be the same thing right there. But for me, there was a lot of things, like there was that, when you're out in country, you really don't know what can and cannot happen. It literally one day could be bright and sunny and all you're doing is just your job, and then the next day it's dark and gloomy and you don't know what's going to happen the next day. Especially out there, bro, with these rules of engagement that we have, it's really hard. It's like a game of cat and mouse out there. So that fear is always on because you don't know if you're going to be driving one and all of a sudden click, boom, there's a bomb, or if you're walking through a hallway in a house just to help, you see a kid and you just want to help that kid. All of a sudden there's somebody that has a freaking machine gun in their hand and they pop it. You don't know. So that fear, man, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's when it comes to fear, like fear could definitely be like one of those things that it really depends on everyone's situation. So for you're fucking seeing some wacky ass shit, dude. So it just heightened your fear level, and then at the same time, watch. You know what I'm saying? So like I get it, and that's just fucking crazy to me, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks. Like you get used to it though sometimes, which is that's when shit happens, is when you become complacent.
Yeah, because
like we woke up to a controlled blast every morning.
The fuck?
They're destroying IEDs, so it's a controlled blast. We woke up to mortar fire happening off base and stuff like that, or off the fob every morning. Like it would happen all the time that you get so used to it. Like if you didn't hear the explosion, it was a weird day. Like that's how weird it got.
God.
But yeah.
Fuck.
You want to hear something weird that has to also deal with fear that just happened to me like last week?
Anything financial is fucking fear.
Yes, it is a fear.
It's a fearful fucking event.
Scammed almost happened.
Scammed almost happened. Like you're just gonna leave the listeners like that? Like,
all right, have a nice day, guys. Right. Later.
And stay tuned till next episode.
Stay tuned for next episode. No, okay,
we're definitely gonna fucking talk about this.
Okay, I almost got. I almost got. Right. And let me tell you how this ended up happening. This whole story is crazy. Let me tell you how this ended up happening, because I'm willing to bet that even you wouldn't have questioned it until right around the time I started questioning it.
Bet.
I get a phone call, right? It's an 800 number.
Mm-hmm.
I pick up the phone,
mm-hmm.
and there was a gentleman on the other side on the other line, and he was like, "Yes, may I speak to so and so?" And I said, "Yeah, this is him." And he was like, "Oh, wonderful. This is so and so from Navy Federal Fraud Department." Yeah. And and they literally start off like that. And they were like, and we caught a couple of transactions that ended up happening in California, Los Angeles to be exact. And we just wanted to make sure and verify with you that these fraudulent charges were obviously not you, because we didn't get a travel order saying that you were traveling to California and you just had a transaction that rang up in Florida. And I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. And they were like, we just gotta give me 1 second. We're gonna go through your accounts right now. All right, I'm gonna verify a couple of things. And then I said, okay. And he goes, okay, $1,714 for whatever. And I was like, no. And they're like, okay, $212 at Wawa. I was like, no, that wasn't me. And then I was like, who the fuck's spending $212
At
at
a
Wawa?
fucking gas station, out of all places.
Gift cards.
Jeez.
They try to do gift cards at gas stations like that all the time. Because gas
cash
stations,
on cash.
exactly. And then $814 at Home Depot. I was like, no.
Fucking
And I was like,
A.
damn. I was in
More gift cards.
Yeah, and they were like, don't worry, none of these transactions went through. We caught them in time. I just wanted to verify with you that these weren't you spending the money, so we can go ahead and shut down your cards and go ahead and re-administer the cards. I said, okay, no problem, absolutely. All right, and just bear with me for a few moments. I'm going to go ahead and get into your accounts right now. And they were like, and then I was like, I never got any text alerts. This is when I started asking questions. I was like, I never got any text alerts. Usually I get text alerts on these stuff. And they were like, yeah, well, we'll either text you or we'll call you. Let me double check real quick. And he said, hold on a second. Then he was like, looks like your red debit card ending in 3078 has the phone calls on it, but your blue credit card or whatever not ending in so and so whatever does not. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it up for you now. I said, okay, perfect, thanks. And they were like, all right, cool. So your number's the same? And I was like, yes, sir. And I was like, okay. And he did all that. Now, everything I'm saying to you right now seems like legit. He knows my cards. He knows the color of the cards. He knows my account. He knows all the, it just seems like it's a fraud, like a fraud call, right? So he keeps going. And he was like, all right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down these cards. We're going to re-administer and reorder your cards. We'll have them sent out right away. And I was like, well, can I think my branch makes cards. Can I do that? And they were like, absolutely. What I'll do is I'll give you a confirmation code, bring the confirmation code up to your bank, and you'll be able to have a new card given to you on there. And he also told me, but we can't give you the credit card back. The credit card actually has to be mailed to you. And I was like, okay, no problem. By the way, that is a real thing.
Yeah.
They will not print out a credit card. Mm-hmm. So all these things are fucking 100% legit. Then he starts going, all right, so what we're going to do is we're going to text you a code. When you receive the code on your phone, just read it to me, and then we'll be good to go. And I'll go ahead and administer everything. I said, no problem. And then a text message from Navy Federal hits my phone. From Navy Federal, because I've gotten text messages from this number before. I go, okay, perfect. And I gave it to him. And he's like, all right, we put in the code. All right, cool. I'm going to put you on a brief hold. We're going to go ahead and get everything settled. I say, no problem. Puts me on hold. I'm waiting there for a second. I was like, huh. And I get a text message from the same number again saying, your code word has been changed. And I go, my code word's been changed. That's weird. And then I was like, hold on. So then I logged into my account on my cell phone while I was on the phone with him on speaker. And I got into my account, and they had moved a lot of my money from my credit card over to my checking account.
Oh, they did cash withdrawal.
And I was like, what the fuck? So then I looked at the number. Now, again, I'm fishy now, but I'm still not getting it because I typed on the computer, and I look up Navy Federal, and the Navy Federal fucking number was the number that's on my phone. I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, they found out a way how to fucking disguise
numbers.
Yeah, because they were trying to do something to me with fucking iTunes. Not iTunes, Apple. Hey, this is Apple support. Just want to let you know that this is the email that you got, and we're contacting you because there's been a breach, on information, and we just want to confirm that you got yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, the fuck? Apple support doesn't fucking call me. I call you guys. Mm-hmm. That's when I fucking figured out that I'm like, fuck you, bye, hung up,
Well,
but carry on.
But the fraud department calls us though. Like if you get fraud.
Line. Yeah.
So, well, no. I'm talking about that's what they do. So that's why I didn't think anything of it. So now I'm like, I'm curious. I get onto my phone. I saw that transfer money or whatever not. And then I typed on the computer, and there's the number for Navy Federal. So I was like, what the fuck? So then I was like, huh. So I called it on another phone. Okay. I'm calling them. I'm on the phone, on the other phone. I asked them to connect to the fraud department. I'm still on hold on my cell phone. It's on mute. And I talked to the guy there, and I was like, hi, I just want to check, just weird situation, whatever. Can you just check to make sure everything was good to go on my account? And they were like, yeah, no problem. They go to access it, and they asked me for my code word. And I gave them my code word, and they were like, I'm sorry, sir, that's not your code word. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, well, here's the thing. I need you to listen to me closely. Like, I got the guy on the phone. Mm-hmm. I said, somebody is in my accounts right now, and they're trying to clean me out for all of my money. I need you to shut down my accounts. I know I can't verify with you who I am, but you can at least shut down the accounts until everything gets taken care of. So I need you to shut down my accounts right now. And they were like, I can't access your account. I said, you need to shut off my accounts right now because someone is stealing my money. And we can make this a little bit easier. Just shut off my accounts. So they were like, you need to go into the branch to verify who you are to take care of the rest of this. Have a good day. Hang up the phone. I said, okay. I get on my phone, trying to log in, and I can't log in anymore. And now I'm just like freaking out. The guy doesn't come back on the phone, so I hang up that guy, and I leave and I go to the bank. I get to the bank and talk to them, and come to find out I actually caught it in time, and they had to re-administer new checking account, new savings account, new credit card, new debit card, new login passcode, new passwords, new username, everything. I got a new routing number. I got a new everything. The entire account got completely wiped, and they gave me brand new information. And apparently, that's when I found out that they can spoof the number. I had no idea they can fucking spoof the number. I didn't know that technology was like that. And I'm looking at my fucking phone and looking at the number, you know? And yeah, that's how it happened. And they almost got me. Now, I asked her, the lady who was helping me, I was like, yo, so what was the code word changed to? Just curious. She said dolphin. Guess where I just came from the weekend before that?
Where?
Miami.
Holy shit.
Somebody in fucking Miami swiped it, and I don't know how they got access into my account. I don't know how he knew the color to my cards, what the account number was.
Once you're in.
He was in.
Somehow they got
my password.
What did you ever log into like free Wi-Fi? Because that's the best and easiest
No,
way
it's
to
private.
fucking.
They're private. Well, you know what? The private account and the hotel.
Sure
Maybe the hotel.
You sure it was hotel? Because hotel asks you to log in and then what's your room number and then your last name.
They either do that or you have to go to their website and hit login. One of those things have to happen. Yeah. But I couldn't tell you where. I couldn't tell you how. But man, it was the most convincing thing I've ever had. Dude, I get phone calls all the time. Like, oh, this is so and so from the IRS, and you owe us $5. I've gotten all types of phone calls, and I usually could veer from them. But this one was really good. Like, the people did really well on this. I'm not giving them fucking props, like, because they're fucking assholes. and if you aren't listening to this, fuck you.
The amount of work that they put in, dude.
But it was good.
I'll tell you what, it was good. $10,000 though.
Fuck that guy. The guy who fucking decided to go ahead and try to rip me off. I can't stand thieves, bro. I work hard for everything I fucking have. I can't stand fucking thieves. And but man, I'm telling you, that was fucking good. Like, I mean, you see how I explained it to you? Like, how the words, the verb, like
it was intricate as fuck.
Yeah, like it literally led me astray. Like, I really had no idea. I'm like, oh yeah, fraud. He knew I had no reason not to believe him because he had all the information already. He had all of my information already, which was scary. It could be fucking scary. But all it was is they had my account information and they needed that passcode for them to get the final straw into my account. When they text me that passcode, I needed to read it to him. What I think happened was either they were on the other line with like customer service
and resetting,
and then resetting everything as they were getting into my account. Because I don't understand how else they would get in there unless they were talking to customer service and customer service let them in. You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense to me from that happening. And because my password is not something just simple. My password consisted of a lot of uppercase, lowercase, special characters, like, and there's no words. It's random as fuck. Like, there's no way you're gonna guess that like that. But
it's fucking insane.
I stopped them before they were able to transfer the money through Western Union.
Fuck, that's where they're going to try to transfer it to?
They were transferring it through Western Union.
Jesus. You know, lately I've actually had a problem with certain gas stations don't like using a credit card machine that they have. They ask you to use it on a different one. And that different one is from like a third country party where they actually copy the fucking shit automatically. It prints out the fucking account number. It prints out the fucking zip code that you're at, you know, and then try to fucking make purchases through that. Like, you never noticed that? Like how like
I've never been told somebody like to. I always question things. Like, if you ever look at me and like I feel like I look really fucking weird. But like, I'll go up to like when I'm paying at a cash register, you'll see me fuck around with their little credit card machine thing.
Oh yeah, I'm always trying to bend
things,
fucking
peel things back.
Yeah,
pull
make sure
things.
that nothing's going to come off or something was added onto it. Yeah, I do the same thing. But I lose my shit when the fucking person on the fucking person that's working there is like, oh no, I got to swipe it back here, and I'm like, all right, what's the machine you're swiping it on? And it's a completely different fucking machine.
Yeah, that's fucked up. No, I don't like this. Unless it's a Chinese food restaurant.
Yeah, they're like, this is debit card, right? And I'm like, no, run it as credit.
I never run
it
debit.
as credit.
Yeah.
Especially when they give you the fucking little keypad and it's on a cord and it's not connected to the other keypad that you fucking regular, like, oh my God, I fucking lose my shit. And they're like, oh, you sure? No, this needs to be debit. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be fucking nothing.
$5 minimum, and I'm like, okay, I grab another fucking can.
You had a whole situation.
Yeah.
Tell us why you're mad.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck that. I told him I want another fucking can.
Yeah. I'm like, charge me twice. I'll go grab another one. It's not a fucking big deal. Oh, I'm off by $1. Here's a Snicker bar. You know, go fuck yourself, dude. You're gonna fucking try to spam me that way.
Yeah, fuck them. No, like at the gas pump, I do this shit all the time. And I never pay debit at a gas pump.
Never.
No, I'll pay credit. Just pay credit.
And it's crazy how like the fucking gas pumps now, like today, they're like, "Is this a debit card?" You put no. You're like, enter PIN. You're like, bitch, I put no.
I put no, motherfucker. Yeah, dude. Every time, if you ever watch me, like every time I go, I'll start trying to peel things back, and everybody's looking at me, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like I'm not getting robbed, motherfucker. Like this is how this works. See, we live in 2019. Fucking Terminator's coming next year, bro. Like this is what's gonna happen.
Jesus.
Fucking Skynet's taking over, bro. We're working off of credits. That's it. We don't have cash anymore. It's all credits.
For real. Fucking credit is king.
Yeah,
that's for sure. In
it
this
really
fucking
is.
World.
Yeah, the paper cash, doesn't really follow as much. And you ever realize how much things cost nowadays versus what they used to cost? Like, you ever sat down and thought about it?
Yes, all the time.
Like your cell phone has become your main source of communication, right? Do you have a house phone?
Nope.
I don't have a house phone either. I tried buying a house phone once because it was $10, and I was like, all right, cool. As soon as I plugged it in, it rang off the hook. It was telemarketers.
Fucking telemarketers somehow fucking find your number. I don't get it.
Bro, I swear to God, I plugged it into the socket.
And it was
as
already
soon as
ringing?
it clicks, as soon as it goes click.
You're like, this is
hello?
unreal.
Yeah, and I'm just like, hello? And they were like, yeah, this is so-and-so from so-and-so marketing company. Click, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, whatever. I walk away from it. Hello? Yeah, this is so-and-so from over here.
Oh, my
Dude,
God.
and it was like over and over and over again that I unplugged it, threw the fucking phone in the trash, called the company, said I don't want a fucking phone anymore. I tried. I really did try. And, but yeah, this is your main source of communication right now. Do you remember how much the phone bills used to be?
No.
You realize that you pay $100 minimum. Now I say minimum. I'm sure you have multiple phones on an account, or maybe you have like a upgrade plan like I do, or like when you're paying like monthly on the phone or something like that, or extra additives and stuff like that. You're probably paying $120, $130, whatever. 200.
No.
How much you pay?
$65.
That's if you bought the phone straight out.
Nope.
65, because mine's $65, $70 without the phone.
No, mine's with the phone. I was pissed off when I traded my phone up, like, oh, yeah, this is going to be like a $700 phone. And I'm like, what? What?
Who you go through?
This is T-Mobile.
Maybe that's what it is then.
No, well, this is a 10 whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys don't have a smaller phone? They're like, no, we don't. And I'm like,
thanks.
This is fucking bullshit. I'm going from an SE to this fucking tablet.
So telephone bills back in the day were only like double digits, like low double digits.
Yeah.
Now you're paying cell phone, but it's not only that you're paying for a cell phone. These cell phones don't last forever. These cell phones eventually break down. They die. The fucking battery is no longer, they're shit. You might break it, whatever not. So you're spending a shit ton of money on the phone, and you're paying $100 a fucking month on a fucking cell phone. It's like crazy to me on how much more expensive that is than what it used to be. A house phone would only cost like $20-$30. That's all a house phone cost.
And yeah, and it will last you for a lifetime.
Ever. We had a phone in my fucking house. I remember it was a white phone.
With the longest cord.
Yes, and it had this fucking really annoying, and it was used so many times that it wrapped itself, like the cord wrapped around itself, and there was no pulling it apart. Like you couldn't pull that fucking cord apart. And there was like they painted the house, like the place that we stayed, the apartments, the townhomes, stuff like that, like several times. So there's like paint stuck on it. One of the numbers you had to press in really hard. But that fucking phone's been there my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like they had cooler phones that came out, but this still works. We're good. Like it's the same. It's the same theory when Thomas Edison made the light bulb. You know that the light bulb is still lit up in a museum, right?
It is, yeah.
Well, you know that light bulbs now fucking die.
Yep.
Well, not now. LED light bulbs are fucking dope. Whoever invented that shit, high five, long distance. But 10 years ago, before the LED light bulb, like light bulbs would die all the fucking time. Well, it was made on purpose like that, so that way it would be a business. They can make money on it to replace. But his light bulb is still lit up in a
it's
fucking
like
museum.
One of the first fucking batches ever made.
And it's still lit up right now.
Goes to show you.
Yeah, well, business is business. Things have to be replaced, right?
Jesus fucking Christ.
But like, what else? What else you had to pay for? This crazy prices nowadays. You know, that when you were younger.
Insurance.
Yeah, I paid $70 for insurance when I first paid for insurance. I got one speeding ticket. One. You know how much my insurance went right after that?
What?
$372. It went from $70 a month to $370 because of one speeding ticket.
How fast were you going, dude? You had to be like
This
in the
one,
triple digits.
the first one wasn't that bad. It was like maybe like 10 miles over.
So that one
speeding ticket gave me $372. The next speeding ticket should have put
this at?
The next speeding ticket probably should have put me in jail, but they didn't. They let me off with a speeding ticket. They didn't tow my car.
But officer,
I went from the back gates of Kaneohe Bay to the fucking front gates of Pearl Harbor in 7 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if you know the distance. Yes, it's in 7 minutes.
It's the other side of the island.
It's like into the middle of the island, but yeah, it's fucking far. I made it in 7 minutes. That's how fast I was going in my other car. And it was an undercover cop that fucking caught me on the off ramp. Like he was acting like he was gonna race me because I was already going fast. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you," and then he pulled me over. Yeah,
You should have just kept going.
yeah, I should have just kept going. No, I was at the front gates of Pearl Harbor. He had me on the side of the road, and he was like, "I can impound your car, dude." I was going like 50 miles over the speed limit. He was like, "I can impound your car," and I'm like, "I'm sorry." He's like, "I'm gonna let you off with a warning on that one. I'm just gonna give you a ticket for doing 25 over." And the fine was like $500 something.
Fuck.
Yeah, I was like I was an E nothing back then. Yeah, it fucking sucks. But anyway, this has been fucking great, right?
Been entertaining as fuck.
Hell
dude.
yeah, it's been a fucking great episode. Thanks for listening, guys. That is the end of our episode. Don't forget to go to cabalusa.co, check out all of his EDC gear, and use Covert Standard on checkout. Also go to stonecoldworks.com and check out all his Cerakote needs so that we can go ahead and get to paint that black gun as well. And yeah, that's it from Dave.
Hey, I fucking love you guys. Keep it up and be patriotic as fuck, man. That's all I got to ask for. And then fear has a large shadow, but he himself is small.
Yes, Daniel's son.
Yes, Daniel.
I am the Nitro Panda. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms and give us a like and share. If you guys like our episodes, let everybody else know. Love you guys. Appreciate it.
Peace.
All those.